ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Today's Hukamnama is by Satguru Arjan Sahib Ji on Ang 819 of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj in the musical measure of Bilaaval. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਬਿਲਾਵਲ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾ. ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਲਕ ਆਪ ਰੱਖਿਆਨ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸੁਖ ਸ਼ਾਂਤਿ ਸਹਜ ਆਨੰਦ ਭਏ ਪੂਰਨ ਭਈ ਸੇਵ. ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਲਕ ਆਪ ਰੱਖਿਆਨ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸੁਖ ਸ਼ਾਂਤਿ ਸਹਜ ਆਨੰਦ ਭਏ ਪੂਰਨ ਭਈ ਸੇਵ. ਰਹਾਉ ਭਗਤ ਜਨਾ ਕੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਸੁਣੀ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਆਪੇ ਰੋਗ ਮਿਟਾਏ ਜੀ ਵਾਲਿਆਨ ਜਾ ਕਾ ਵੱਡ ਪ੍ਰਤਾਪ. ਦੋਖ ਹਮਾਰੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆਨ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਲ ਧਾਰੀ ਮਨ ਬਾਂਛਤ ਫਲ ਦਿੱਤਿਆਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਲਿਹਾਰੀ. ਦੋਖ ਹਮਾਰੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆਨ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਲ ਧਾਰੀ ਮਨ ਬਾਂਛਤ ਫਲ ਦਿੱਤਿਆਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਲਿਹਾਰੀ. Satguru Arjan Sahib Ji Maharaj is blessing us today. Guru Maharaj Sahib Ji begins the Shabad today. Apne balak aap rakhiyan Par Brahm Gurudev. It is said that this Shabad was first sung by Guru Arjan Sahib Ji in praise of God after the various attempts which were made on the life of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, who at that time was a child. And thanking God, Sri Guru Arjan Sahib Ji sang this Shabad. There are many other Shabads associated with that time. This Shabad is also associated with that time. So on one side, we can see Guru Arjan Sahib Ji Maharaj thanking God for the protection of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. But on a deeper level, on a more spiritual level, on a level which is talking about the soul, this is talking about how the soul who yearns to be one with Vaheguru, how Vaheguru Ji protects that soul. Apne balak aap rakhiyan par Brahm Gurudev. This Shabad has a very, very important line in it. Apne balak. Those who have become apne balak, who have become the sons and daughters of God. Those who have recognized Vaheguru Ji as their father, their mother, their everything. Aap rakhiyan. Vaheguru Ji himself, Aap himself rakhiyan, looks after them. Par Brahm, that Vaheguru who is beyond all limits, who is the highest creator being, Gurdev, and who is Gur, who is forever consciousness, and Dev, forever light. The one who brings light and consciousness, light and wisdom into our lives, who takes us from the darkness into the light, who makes us divine beings. That Guru himself, Vaheguru Ji himself, looks after those who look to him as their mother and father. If you look to Vaheguru Ji as your support, then Vaheguru Ji himself will guide you. Now there's a small story which I want to share with you at this point. One day, it is said that a king asked a holy man this question. "Oh holy man, you always say that God himself looks after his servants. Why doesn't God just send an angel or a demigod? Why doesn't God send someone else to look after his servants, his devotees?" And the saint said, "I will answer this question to you one day." And that wise man, that saint, what he did was he made a doll, a statue which looked exactly like the king's son, the prince. And he stood, this statue of the prince, just by a lake which was outside the king's palace. And when the king was walking along, he saw what he thought was his son, called out to him and said, "Oh son, come over here, you are close to the water." And obviously we know it's a statue, but he thought it was his son. When his son didn't listen, he went to walk towards him, and what happened? There was a little rope which was tied to the bottom of the foot of the statue, and that wise man was hiding in the bushes. He pulled that rope and the statue fell into the water. And even though the king had his bodyguards all around him, he had those people who were paid, who were hired, whose job it was to protect his life and protect him at all costs. Even though all of them were around him, even though his prime minister was there, so many other ministers was there, he didn't tell anyone else to jump into the water. He himself ran in. He didn't think of anything else. He jumped straight into the lake. And when he came out and he had this statue in his arms, he was furious. And there he saw that wise man, that saint, that sage. And he said to him, "What was this? What was the point of this?" And the sage looked back to him and said, "This is the answer to your question." And he said, "How is this the answer to my question?" And he said, "You asked why God didn't send anyone else." And the sage said, "Why did you jump into the water? Why didn't you send one of your bodyguards? Why didn't you send your ministers, prime ministers?" He said that the child was mine. He was a part of me. Because he was my child, he was a part of me. And the sage laughed and he said, "The saints are part of God. They are his children. Just as you love your child, so they belong to him and he looks after them himself." So Aprakyan, that is the great philosophy which is in the first line of the Shabad. And what happens to those saints? Sukh, they get eternal peace. Sant, their mind becomes completely peaceful. Sahaj, they live their life in this balance, in this state of being where they cannot be affected by happiness or sorrow. Anad, they have the highest pleasure of life. Pay, and they get all of this. Puran pay save. When their seva, their service to the Lord becomes puran, becomes fulfilled. What does it mean? That their seva ends? No. The seva becoming puran doesn't mean it ends. The seva becoming puran means it becomes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice will perfect you. That's what that means. Practicing the Guru's gurmat, the Guru's wisdom, will give you that perfection. Rahao, Guruji says, pause and think about this. Sitting down every day is saying Waheguru, Waheguru. Why do we do it every day? So that we can get that one Waheguru come out of our mouth, with which our heart, mind and soul will be joined to the Lord. Puran pay save. It doesn't finish, it becomes perfected. They learn the art of service. And when you've learned how to serve, then you will get peace, you will get peace of mind, you will get this sahaj, you will get this anand, you will get this pleasure. Bhagat jina ki benti suni prabh aap. Because they have made Waheguru, because those Bhagat jina, because those humble devotees, those lovers of the Lord, because they have known God to be their own, Suni Prabh Aap, Waheguruji himself listens. Waheguruji Suni listens to them himself. Aap, why is Aap there? Because they have understood God to be their own. And that is why God listens to their benti, to their supplications, to their prayers. Rog mitaye. And when those prayers are heard, all of their rog, all of their diseases, physical, spiritual and mental, the disease inside of ego, but also externally. Guru Nanak Dev Ji taking away the leprosy of many lepers. Sri Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji going into Delhi when there were plagues and taking away the plague. Rog mitaye, the Guru will take away your spiritual, physical and mental rog, diseases, jivalian, and he will give you a new life. Taking away the rog, the disease of ego, he will give you a spiritual life. Jaka Vad Pratap, the glory of Vaheguru is Vad, is beyond anything else, is the greatest. And at that point, when your ardas has been fulfilled, has been listened to, Dokh Hamare Baksyan, Vaheguruji has Baksyan, has forgiven the Dokh, the sins. Apni Kal Tari, because he has blessed me with his Kal, with his power. It is not through my power that I can get my sins forgiven. It is his power. It is Vaheguruji's power, it is Gur Prasad, the Guru's grace. Man banchat phal dityan. And at that point, you get the phal, the fruits of your man banchat, of your mind's desires. Dityan, Vaheguruji gives them to you. Nanak Balihari. And Sri Guru Arjan Sahib Ji says that I am Balihari. I offer my mind, body and soul. Balihari means to surrender my mind, body and soul to that Vaheguru, that Lord, that God, who has forgiven our sins and who has saved us. Dokh hamare baksyan apni kal tari, man banchat phal dityan, Nanak balihari. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।